So in part three, I was talking about all these 99s and 151s surrounding uh, Obama's assassination and whatnot, and how it ties into the Civil War race type thing with the Super Bowl. But as I was doing that, I was watching this Warriors Thunders game tonight, and the reason that this game really sticks out to me is because of this right here. When the other day when Steph Curry said the Warriors will beat the Thunder and Panthers will win the Super Bowl, and then the next day he said, "If you think I'm a prophet, blah blah blah," or something like that. So interesting. the Warriors beat the Warriors beat the Thunder, but I mean it's so ridiculous and it's so rigged. Like look at their record now, 46-4. So absolutely no way they were going to lose this game. I mean, it might have seemed like that, but they kind of fake you out with the coding a little bit. So the Warriors are now 46-4 after winning this game, 23-0 at home. And the reason why it kind of fakes you out is because if they would have lost, they would have been 45-5. Interesting, the Mirrors 45-54. The Super Bowl's played on a date numerology of 45. But this 46-64, it all goes along with the Civil War, the civil rights type theme that they're doing. Even if they would have lost, I guess they would have been 22-1. The mirror of 122. San Francisco equals 122. Golden State equals 122. They just scored 122 points. When Steve Kerr came back, it was also the same day that David Blatt, the Cavaliers coach, was fired 122 days before his birthday. And would you look at that, my mouse is stupid here, and look at that. It just popped up 12-12. What are the odds of that? Ridiculous. Anyway, I've talked about Chicago equaling 46. The Super Bowl's all coded to the Bears, the 1985 Bears and whatnot. The Thunder had 38 wins. Colorado equals 38. They're the 38th state. The Super Bowl's played on the 38th day of the year. Lots of 38 connected to the Thunder, or to the Broncos. But in gematria, Stephen Curry equals 64, just like a lot of these civil rights type things. I mean, we got Stephen Curry 64, 15-1 like the 151 I've mentioned. The Panthers record equals 64. Also interesting, Denver Broncos equals 64. That's what I'm talking about. This coding is insane. 49ers, where the Super Bowl's played, equals 64. But in regards to the civil rights stuff, so JFK died at the age of 46. He died in Dallas, Texas, but he actually avoided being assassinated at Soldier Field in Chicago, in like 3 weeks before his assassination. And like once again, Chicago equals 46. He almost got assassinated at Soldier Field. Soldier Field, the home of the Chicago Bears. I mean, oh, the odds. His wife Jackie died at the age of 64. He was replaced by Lyndon B. Johnson. His name adds up to 64. LBJ died at the age of 64. During his time, the Civil Rights Act was passed in 1964. Civil rights equals 64. If you write out MLK Jr., it equals 64. Also, in regards to Batman and whatever, we talked about Lyndon. His middle name is Baines Johnson. Also, Barack Hussein Obama equals 64. People also call him Barry. Barry equals 64. He's the 44th president. If you write out 44th, it equals 64. If he gets assassinated, Joe Biden will become the president. Joe Biden, 64. So, whatever. You get the point. Civil rights. The Warriors won. And then Steph Curry said that if the Warriors will win, that the Panthers will also win. Also, another thing that really caught my attention in this game, in the fourth quarter, Kevin Durant was shooting free throws. And I don't know if you noticed also the score. It was 88-99. And then all of a sudden, the Thunder made a big comeback, and they brought it back within 95-99 before the Warriors finally scored. Really looked like the Warriors might actually blow the game. But then Kevin Durant, right here when he was shooting a free throw, down here, at 4:24, the announcer said that he was 9 for 9 of free throws, And then the Warriors brought in Iguodala, number 9, and he even walked up and stood next to number 9, Serge Ibaka. I mean, they were just throwing a 99 coding in there. Interesting, the 42-24 coding, the 42, February, the only month that equals 42, nigger equals 42, the word Freemason even equals 42. I mean, it's just all fitting for the coding of what I believe is that the Civil Rights Act and whatever. I really think that the Panthers are going to win because, you know, it's all about the civil rights and the blacks rising up, just like P.D. Pablo's song, North Carolina, come on and raise up. Anyway, we also had O.J. Simpson, who was chased in the white Bronco. He was found not guilty 68 weeks after the murder of his wife and Ronald Goldman. You know, interesting, Goldman, but whatever. O.J. is even 68 years old this year. He was acquitted on 10/3/1995, which was exactly 1 month after the Panthers' first NFL game ever. It was also the year that Michael Jordan returned to the NBA. There was even a film called Panther that came out, and it was about the Black Panthers that came out in the year 95. So, once again, you know, just the coming back, the rising up of blacks. It's all about the narrative. It's not me saying this. It's just the narrative that they're actually trying to do here. But OJ's case brought a lot of racial tension to it, and when he was acquitted, it was a win for black people. Wouldn't it also make sense for Newton to make Black History and Black History Month? He would be the first black person to win a college championship and a Super Bowl. The only others were Montana and Namath, both white guys. Their names are both Joe. Joe equals 12, like North Carolina, the 12th state. Also, OJ won his case 9 years after Super Bowl 20, where the 85 Bears won. So interesting. That was also 9 years. The Panthers' first game was 9 years after that Super Bowl as well. And FX just came out with a special thing on O.J. Simpson, The People versus O.J. Simpson. It came out on February 2nd, 2016, right before the Super Bowl pretty much. O.J. was portrayed by Cuba Gooding Jr. Just really sticks out. He's been in a lot of racial type movies, Boys in the Hood, and what happens? He doesn't die in that movie, he gets out of the hood. Also, for whatever the reason, used to be one of my favorite movies called Gladiator, and he was a boxer, and his name was Abraham Lincoln Haynes. Just interesting, you know, with the Civil War theme. He was also Rod Tidwell and Jerry Maguire, and at the end, when he finally gets his payday, they show his brother wearing a black rights shirt. It says, I can't remember what it says here, but something about I'm black, I'm not a criminal or something. I can't remember it, but interesting. Rod Tidwell in the movie wears number 85, just like the 85 Bears. Tidwell in Gematria equals 85. You know, so he got his money too. So the black guy won once again. Rod Tidwell got his money. Show me the money equals 71, just like Super Bowl 50. O.J. Simpson, also known for being a Buffalo Bill. He's originally from San Francisco, where the Super Bowl is being played. He finished his career there, but mostly known for being a Buffalo Bill. There's also been these motorcycle coatings to Denver lately. You had the Broncos bus that injured the motorcycle cop, the shooting at the Motorcycle Expo in Denver, and then it even connected to the one in Waco, the motorcycle gang fight in Waco, Texas. And it was at Twin Peaks, right? The mountains. But for whatever reason, it made me think of Hell's Angels and Hunter S. Thompson, because he went and lived with the Hells Angels in San Francisco and wrote a book about them. And Bill Murray super coded to a lot of stuff. We talked about him in Space Jam. He wears number 22 and whatnot. 9 of the Looney Tunes get hurt, and then they bring in Bill Murray, number 22. The 922 reference. Michael Jordan was even number 9 on the Dream Team. He wore number 23. That was his most famous number. So the 923, they even have it in Space Jam. They have them 2 jerseys next to each other. He came out of retirement wearing number 45. 45, a reference to Valentine's Day. Could even be a reference to the Super Bowl this year. Who knows? But he wore number 45 for 22 games, and then he switched back to number 23 on the 23rd game. He even wore number 12 one time, Valentine's Day of 1990, I believe it was. Somebody supposedly stole his jersey. He scored 49 points that game. It was the 49th game of the season. Lots of stuff with Michael Jordan. But anyway, Bill Murray plays Hunter S. Thompson in this movie, and it's called Where the Buffalo Roam. So just interesting in regards to OJ and the white Bronco, Where the Buffalo Roam. The very opening scene, he's like writing or typing his little story, and he even trains his dog named Bronco to bite Richard Nixon. And Nixon, the 37th president, just interesting, Carolina equals 37 in 73. The movie does, it does start off in the Rocky Mountains, so that could be why they named it Bronco. Just still interesting how it actually fits, and I just randomly looked it up. But the movie is about how he's doing a story on Super Bowl VI, and then he gets sidetracked and whatnot, and whole big, long, boring, I think the movie is stupid as crap, but whatever. But in Super Bowl VI, as much as I've mentioned Blackout and the Super Bowl and whatnot, Super Bowl VI, it says this was the last Super Bowl to be blacked out in the TV market in which the game was played. So, just interesting, it was the last Super Bowl to be blacked out in the TV market that it was played. Interesting too that it was 44 Super Bowls ago as well. So, he trains his dog to attack Nixon, the president, and then 44 Super Bowls ago, Obama, the 44th president, lots of 44 coding. So I guess moral of the story, I really think that the Panthers are going to win. Even when you think blackout, you think of blackout and Obama being out of the White House, the blackout, but also just in regards to the Super Bowl, blackout, the Panthers are wearing black and the Broncos are wearing white. So if the Super Bowl's blacked out, that could literally mean that the Panthers are going to just dominate the game. But once again, there's just so much coding to this game. So this is just my thoughts on it. I really think that this might be a big part of it. Just lots of black, like rising up type of stories this year. So I'm gonna throw out my guess at a score if the Panthers do win. I think if the Panthers win, the score is going to total probably something like 46, maybe 38. But if the Broncos happen to win, I think the score might total something around like 37. Don't know the exact score. I'm just saying something that will total to it, but it just really seems like the Panthers are coded to the Chicago Bears more than the Broncos to me. All this race stuff and whatnot, freeing the slaves. Seems like the blacks are going to rise up. So we'll see what happens. Have a good day.